you are. Where you been? Well, you're right on time for another edition of the Morgan Show. My name is Lamont, Germany, along with Cayla, Sweazie, and we got another edition for you filled with Morgan State University athletics. Football team off this past weekend. Didn't play. They will play this coming weekend against St. Francis in search of what they hope will be win number one on the 2021 season. We'll see. They've had 2 weeks now to prepare, to adjust, to get some bodies healed, and Morgan looking for some better results when they tee off against St. Francis, Cayla, on Saturday afternoon.
The volleyball team did get another win under their belt this past weekend against South Carolina State. Unfortunately, they did lose to North Carolina Central. They have their local rivalry game at home this Friday at 6 p.m. versus Coppin State University. They're not the only Morgan team that won this past weekend. The softball team started their season for the fall, and they have 3 wins under their belt, so far undefeated during the fall season.
Speaking of softball, they're, of course, coming off that championship season that was spring of 2021. We are going to do a deep dive into that season, talk to coaches, talk to players, talk about how it was to reign supreme and be the MEAC champion. Softball Championship Season Chronicled. It's up next, right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany. We continue to take a look at the championship season that was Morgan State softball. Got some company, as you see. Number 81 is in the house, Deborah Hamilton, a junior on that Morgan State University softball team. Deborah, we appreciate you paying us a visit.
Thank you for having me today.
Killeen, Texas?
Yes, sir.
To Morgan State? How did that happen? Talk to me.
So I've always wanted to play collegiate softball. I just didn't know where. My major is business administration, and I was doing a little bit of research on really good schools with business, really good business schools, and I came across Morgan. It was one of my top picks, so I was invited to go on a tour, and I really loved the Earl Grey School of Business. I fell in love, and they also had a softball team, so killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Nothing wrong with that. How long have you been playing softball? What are your earliest memories of picking up a bat and a ball?
Oh, man. I started playing softball when I was 6. My dad was the one who introduced it to me, and the rest is just history.
Well, you've been playing for Morgan State University the past few years as an outfielder. You often make appearances as a pinch runner. And I want to dial down a little bit deeper into the pinch running role, because that's a special role. You never know the moment that you're going to be called on. You're sitting in the dugout, minding your own business, just chilling, and then all of a sudden somebody gets a double, and the coach turns to you and says, 81, it's your turn. And you got to jump up and go into the game. And for me, pinch running is not just about speed. You got to be smart. As a matter of fact, smarts is more important than speed on the bases. What is your approach when that moment comes? Because you got to be aware of the situation. How many outs? Is there somebody in front of me? This pitcher that's in the circle, how can I time her up? What are all of the calculus that goes through your head when you jump on the field as a pinch runner?
Well, number one thing, and this is with anything, speed kills. One of my main goals when I get on base is I want to rattle the defense as much as possible. If I'm rattling the defense, then the pitcher gives whoever is at bat a cookie, and that helps us.
Wow, a cookie.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's talk about the feeling of winning that championship.
Woo!
Last year when the Lady Bears ran the table and won it all. And let's start from the beginning, because there was a point in time when, Deborah, we weren't sure there was even going to be a season, much less a championship season. There were some COVID concerns at the very beginning, some doubt about whether or not we'd be able to start it, run through it, and complete it. Walk us through that process of uncertainty at the beginning of the year.
Well, I think it started out in 2019, where our season was cut short. And that's where the uncertainty started. For me, I had an ankle injury that year in my freshman year. So I was uncertain how exactly I was going to bounce back because that was my first major injury, and it made a pretty big damage on my confidence, especially being a fast person. But when the fall started rolling around, they were saying, we're not going to have a fall season. You're not going to be coming at all. So we have new people coming in. We have transfers coming in. And then there's the rest of the team, the returners, and we still have yet to gel. We still have yet to mesh. And that was, for me, one of the biggest question marks. Was when we come back in January, we have to hit the ground running. But another thing about this sport is about relationships. And it plays a significant role in the field. So if we don't gel very well, how will that affect our performance? But fortunately, we made a way to make the best opportunity of our situation. And it worked because we won MEACs. It's a memorable experience.
What were your memories of that last out against North Carolina Central to clinch the championship?
It was silence because it was a deep pop fly to our right fielder, Aaliyah Ewell. And we were like, come on, Leah, you got it, you got it, you got it. And then when she catched it, we were like, yeah!
Showtime.
Yes.
But of course, with that championship, that meant that you're now operating on the national stage. You're going to Oklahoma. Selection day, Sunday. They didn't give you the number 2 team or the number 3 team or the number 4 team in America. They decided your reward for winning the championship was to get the number 1 team in the country, Oklahoma. How'd you feel about that draw, and what was the feeling like when you set foot in Norman?
When I found out that we were playing against Oklahoma, the first person that I called was my mom. And I had expressed to her, some nervousness facing against the number 1 team in the country. And she had said, in every situation, there is always an opportunity. If you're wise enough to stop and think about what that opportunity is, it'll be looking at you right in the face. But also at the same time, there is a sense of pride. We've made it here because not a lot of teams get the opportunity. Not a lot of athletes get the opportunity to get that far. So it was a great experience. Getting there to Oklahoma, it's one thing seeing it on TV, it's another thing seeing it in person. So I think in that aspect, it shattered that whole, they're the greatest in the world. And then came on the game faces, okay, it's game time. Even if we were facing against a seemingly unstoppable force, we were prepared to face it. So we had some chance of, getting some runs on the board.
Well, I wish you success in your pursuit of getting another ring on your fingers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is number 81. And you don't want to blink when you come to see Morgan softball play because she moves fast. So keep your eyes peeled as the Lady Bears go after another championship in 2022. Deborah, we appreciate the visit. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we'll talk to some more of Deborah Hamilton's teammates and also my co-host, Cayla Sweazie. She is a member of that championship team. She will share some of her thoughts about that championship year that was in 2021. All that and more up next on The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany, hanging out with the champions, Morgan State University Lady Bears. And it is impossible to have a good softball team unless you have a good shortstop. That's where all the action is. That's where most of the balls come to. The shortstop got to be on point or the team is going to be off point. Morgan State University is fortunate to have a shortstop that is on point. She joins me right now on The Morgan Show. She is number 3 on your roster. She is Katie Delph. Katie, welcome to The Morgan Show.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you hanging out with us. Let's talk first of all about Katie's journey to Morgan State University. When was Morgan first on your radar screen, and what was the ultimate decision to come to Morgan?
So Morgan was on my radar early in high school. I started looking at local schools in the area, wanted to stay in state, wanted to stay close to home. So I reached out to Coach Hineline, and it just seemed the perfect fit. Like I said, I'm an hour and a half away. My brother lives 20 minutes down the road, so I came on a visit, fit perfect, so it was just a perfect decision for me.
Okay, so since you came here, it looks like you're a bona fide certified Bear. Morgan has embraced you. Have you embraced Morgan?
Yeah, I believe so. I hope I have the heart of the Bear by the time I graduate. Definitely enjoying my classes and my time here, getting acclimated to campus life again after COVID. So
let's talk about the experience last year. I got to tell you, Katie, it was so cool sitting home in my living room. I'm from Pittsburgh. I was up in Pittsburgh visiting family. I pick up the remote. I turn on ESPN, and there's Katie and the ladies handling their business against Oklahoma. It was cool for me to watch you on that stage. How was it to experience it?
It was surreal. I mean, being a little girl growing up, playing softball, always watching the NCAA tournament and dreaming of being there one day with the big dogs, like it was surreal. I couldn't imagine I would ever be there, but yeah, it was awesome.
You ladies on that big stage taking on the #1 team in the country. Was it more, we're glad to be here, or was it, let's compete?
I think it was always like, let's compete. Like we were getting ready the week before, trying to like strategize, playing to our strengths and playing against their weaknesses. So like planning shifts. And so we definitely came there. Like it was a cool experience to be there, but I think it was 100% we want to compete and put everything we have out on the field.
Let's talk about the championship run that got you there. Winning the MEAC for the very first time in the history of the program had never ever happened before. What was that journey like, and what was it like when finally that last out, I think it was Aaliyah catching the fly ball in the outfield, and we were the champions?
Again, it was just surreal. I was so happy for all of our seniors and our grad students that came back, that all the hard work that we put in throughout the whole season. Because with COVID, it was very tight. Only the top 2 teams from North and South were going, so we were, fighting it out the whole season long. So we were fortunate enough to have a great record, and we were able to go and fight it out, go undefeated in the tournament, and it was just awesome. I was glad I could be a part of the team for that championship run.
Well, not just a part of the team. Let's talk about your contribution. Let's talk specifically about the position you play. In my opinion, catcher might be the most physically demanding, but I think shortstop is the most athletically challenging because you got to cover so much ground. You got to make throws off balance. You got to be able to get there, and you get a lot of the action. More balls in play are hit to the shortstop than any other position on the field. So that's a challenge. Talk to me about how you feel when you're up there trying to meet that challenge playing shortstop for the Lady Bears.
It definitely is challenging. I got a lot of ground to cover, but working with my coaches over the past 3 years, I've definitely been developed into a better player than when I started. Working with like Coach Meyer and on being really like a leader and a captain of the field, like calling out plays, calling out defensive sets so we can be ready for the pitch and ready for the next play. I've just playing the infield and shortstop my whole life. I think coming here, it definitely was a transition like to the higher level, but I think I was able to make a lot of the outs for our pitchers, which was good.
And that was a big reason the Lady Bears were able to win that championship. Now that you have the championship belt around your waist, people are going to be trying to snatch it from you.
Yes,
Katie.
sir.
People want what you got now. You see the team around you. You've had some fall games under your belt. You see the quality of what's around you in practice. Do you believe this team is built to defend the championship you won last year?
Oh, 100%. I think we have great talent this year with all of our returners and our newcomers. I think a lot of facets of the game we're going to be solid, and like we said, we have the talent. We're just putting in the work right now, learning how to play as a team. But once we have that under our belts, I don't think we're going to be stopped.
When you come to see the Lady Bears perform this season, and you're wondering who made that play out there at shortstop, it was her, Katie Delph, Morgan State University Lady Bears shortstop. Katie, we appreciate the visit. Good luck in 2022.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm Lamont, Germany. When we come back, we're going to talk to some more of Katie's teammates right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany. We are going to do a deep dive into the championship season that was. History-making season for Morgan State University softball. And to do that deep dive, we actually have two guests. Our first guest doesn't say much, but then again, this first guest right here says everything. It says history. It says something that has never happened before on this campus. The championship trophy has never resided at Morgan State University. That changed this past spring when the Lady Bears ran the table and indeed took it all, won the 2021 MEAC championship. And with us to discuss that run, the head man in charge of Morgan State softball, Coach Larry Hineline. Coach, we appreciate you paying us a visit.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Before, Coach, we talk about the championship season, let's talk about when you first set foot on campus as the head coach. Where the program was, the strengths, the weaknesses, what were the things that needed to happen in order to make a championship run?
Well, when I first got here, we had some good players and some experienced players. We didn't have much in the way of pitching returning, and we had a thin squad. We only had, I think, 11 players, whereas last year we had 22. So, obviously we didn't have that deep depth that people are talking about. So we had we were short at, no pun intended, we were short at the shortstop position. So we had to find a shortstop. So we had some holes to plug, and within a year the team progressed pretty well. That we made it to the MEAC tournament and had done so since. So it was it was more or less a building, not a rebuilding, but a building of the program. And Coach Myron and I got on our recruiting trails and got some players in, got some pitching in, and since that second year we've been very competitive in this league, and and so it culminated into that championship last year.
Well, last couple of years, I know you felt you had a team that was capable of winning a championship. What were the differences with that 2021 team that put them over the top?
Well, in this game and every game, there's events that happen during the course of a game. You got to overcome them. I think this team, when we were in the MEAC tournament, we had a couple of key spots where we had to make big plays, and we made those plays. I mean, we turned a key double play in the North Carolina Central game with their best hitter up. And this girl was really a dominant player, and we changed pitchers, and the new pitcher comes in, Mel Paz, and she gets her to hit into a double play, gets us out of the inning, and those are the kinds of things that win championships. You can prepare for a lot of things, but you got to make the plays when it counts. And so that's the key difference.
Coach, you put a whole lot of effort, energy, planning, hours into making a championship happen. When you're standing in the dugout and Aaliyah Yule grabs that last fly ball to win the championship, what did Larry Hineline feel like at that moment?
I tell you, it was, it's like all those years of hard work and telephone calls and late night strategy sessions and, the losses and the wins and and they all kind of like, they don't flash before you, but kind of like, it just all opens up and goes, this is it. This is why I did all that stuff. And it's really, I don't like to overuse the word surreal, but it's like, did this really happen? I mean, it's like, this is what we came for, and we got it. And it's like, it was very gratifying and very, uplifting. And it's like, I can't believe this. I was looking for somebody to hug, that kind of feeling. Like, okay, please hug me, that kind of thing. So it was fun. It was really fun.
And what we want to do now, Coach, is take a sneak peek at what you got in store for 2022. And for me, whenever I assess a softball team, I got to start in the circle with pitching. Most of the innings last season, Stephanie Runlet, Mickey Bernard, they moved on. So we got some new folks in the circle, and I had a chance to peek at what you got in store. And Coach, I have to say, it didn't look too bad. Tori Fletcher, Anaya Hunt will be two newcomers, and you're also very deep in the circle. It doesn't stop there. How comfortable do you feel with your pitching in 2022?
As comfortable as I'll ever be. This is a great pitching staff. We had a good pitching staff last year. We've got a great pitching staff this year. Tori's an accomplished pitcher. Anaya's an accomplished pitcher. The new ones, and we had a great game yesterday. Both of them were. Well, no, over the weekend we played a doubleheader on Saturday and a game yesterday, and both threw well. I'm excited. I mean, it's like, it's like Christmas morning or something. It's like you got some presents here. It's like, I lost 2 good pitchers, and I bring in two good pitchers, two competitive. And the other pitchers we have experience, big time experience. Our other pitchers are good, and over the weekend the 3 other ones that we pitched wonderfully. So this is great. We'll stack our pitching staff up with anybody in the MEAC, and then even any of the mid-major teams in this area and around the East Coast. So we're excited.
Well, Coach is a little humble. Not only did he have good performances over the weekend, he got wins. 2 wins over Mount St. Mary's, and they beat Towson at Towson over the weekend as well. Yes, it's fall ball. No, it doesn't count in the official standings, but you get on the field and compete, and when they're competing, it counts.
You know what I say, Lamont? When they have a scoreboard with numbers on them, it counts.
There you go.
They had numbers, and our number was bigger than their number.
And you managed to get it done. Yeah. He's the coach. He's Larry Hineline, and one thing he isn't is satisfied. I think he wants to get some more championships here at Morgan State University. Coach, we really appreciate the visit.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
If you want to get a sneak peek at the Lady Bears, they're going to have one more fall ball game at home. It'll be on October 16th. The Lady Bears will be taking on the JUCO from up there in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Lackawanna, again on the 16th of October. And as mentioned, the real deal will begin next spring as the Lady Bears look to defend their 2021 championship. When we come back, going to talk to some of Coach Hineline's student athletes, some of the players who made it happen in 2021. That's coming up next right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. My name is Lamont, Germany, hanging out at practice with the champions, Lady Bears, the 2021 MEAC champions. And one major reason for that championship run is to my left, Mia Ewell, middle infielder for the Lady Bears. And for my particular taste, Mia, there wasn't enough Mia last season. You had to sit out a large stretch of the year with injury in every game. When is Mia coming back? When is Mia coming back? And I guess I'll start there, Mia. How frustrating was that for you? I know you want to contribute. I know you're a competitor. I think it was up at Drexel or somewhere where you hurt your hand, your thumb.
Yeah, I broke my thumb in that game.
Broke your thumb, and you had to sit out a large part of the season. How difficult was that for you as a competitor?
Well, in the moment when it happened, I didn't think that it was as bad as it was. Me and Katie were actually in the dugout. I thought I had just jammed it, and she was trying to pull out the jam. Okay. But I was like, that's not working. So it really became like, once I went to the doctors was when I really realized like how serious it was. Me and Darrius went, and we came back to practice. I told my coaches that it was broken, and Coach Larry was like, "Can you play?" It's like, no, not with this kind of injury. It was really frustrating for me because, like, I have a lot of heart when it comes to softball. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. All of my older sisters played, so I've, like, been in this forever. So it just sucks when you can't be out on the field with your team and contribute to the wins. But I was really happy to see that everyone stepped up and did what they had to do to make sure that we could stay winning. Like, Sarah came in and played second a lot, and I was just really happy that she could get the job done.
Yeah, we were able to get it done, and I was so happy, Mia, that when you ladies made it all the way to Oklahoma, you were able to come back and play. I'm sitting at home just watching it on TV, wondering if you would be able to participate. Talk to me about that experience and how good you felt that you were able to get back on the field for the games against Oklahoma and Texas A&M.
That experience in itself was nerve-wracking because in that moment, like, usually, like, I have no doubts in my skills. Like, I know I can do the things, but I was really scared because I was just worried about hurting myself worse. But I made the decision to play because it could end up being a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You know, it's not every day you get to play the top school in the nation. So I just was like, I'm going to wrap this thumb up good.
Suck it up.
Yeah, I'm going to do the best I can. I wasn't at 100%, but I was at the top performance that I could be in that moment. You know, I practiced like
for 2 days before we went out there. And I was like, you know what, I just got to do this.
I tell you, fans, if you are a fan of the game, and if in particular you're a fan of defense, you got to see her in the middle infield handling her business at shortstop or at second base. You are a spectacular defensive player.
Thank you.
Some of the plays that you make at second base are just unreal to me. And I just want to know what's going on in your mind as you're, I guess, anticipating, hey, if it's hit to me, I got to be able to handle it and do my business. You're a middle infielder, so you're going to get much of the action in balls and play. Talk about Mia's approach to the defensive side of her game.
Well, every pitch I expect the ball to come to me. Like, I have to be ready every play, or if there's, say, a runner on first and I'm covering second, I expect that they're going to steal on every pitch. I just say in my mind, if the ball comes to me, I'm going here. Or if, say, the ball goes to Katie, I need to cover second base. Like, I'm just always thinking that the ball is going to come to me every pitch.
Well, it's obvious that those thoughts are working, because when it comes to you, bad things happen for the opposition, because you take care of business. And you're part of what I think is a spectacularly tight defensive team. Do you guys get just as much pride out of preventing runs with your defense as producing runs with your bats?
When we hit, we hit. Like, we have a lot of girls on this team that can hit the ball well, and once we get a rally going, our energy goes up, our dugout, you know, they're always loud and cheering. Even the girls who aren't in the game, they're making sure to continuously, like, support our team and make sure everyone knows that they're rooting for us, and that even if they're not in the game, they have no bad thoughts about those who do get to play.
You came here after your sister was already here. I'm assuming that influenced your decision to come to Morgan State University. Talk to me about that, coming all the way from Portland, Oregon.
Well, originally I was thinking that I was gonna go play somewhere where it was hot all year round, had great weather. And then as it started to get closer to the time that I would be getting ready to go to college, Coach Myron reached out to me and we talked about scholarships and that kind of stuff. And you know, being at an HBCU already seemed like a cool thing to do. Like, you don't get the same experience here that you get at, you know, other schools. And, you know, I only got to play with my sister 1 year in high school. So I was like, I might as well come out here and live it up again. And I'm lucky to get 2 years with her, because she really should have graduated last year, but with COVID and everything, she was able to get that extra year playing. So, you know, why not take it?
In this case, your sister, Aaliyah, I think literally has your back. You're usually playing second base, and she's usually right behind you in right field. And there have been times where you made a spectacular play at second base, only to be followed up by your sister taking care of business in the outfield with her glove and with that arm. Does it run in the family? The Yules can throw.
Yeah, it runs in the family. Our oldest sister, she has a cannon. She was an outfielder too. I'm the only one who plays infield, but it definitely is a family trait.
Having the championship now, Mia, means people want to take that championship from you.
You know, they counted us out from the beginning last year. They didn't think that we could do it, but we proved them wrong. And, you know, not being able to compete in the MEAC tournament was tough, but in that time, I just played my role as a good teammate. I was cheering for everyone, you know, supporting everyone the best I could, because that's all I could do. But now this year, hopefully, I'll be able to play in it and contribute on the field.
More of those newcomers are in to try to help the cause this year. Some have moved on. When you look at the new group around you, what's your sense of whether this team might even be better than last year's championship team?
I think we definitely are better than last year. We have a lot of new girls who have just came in and shown us really what they got. Like, you know, we have Maddie right here, a new catcher. She's great. Like, I love having her back there. You know, we have new pitchers, new outfielders, and everyone has really just been coming through and really proving that they deserve to be here and that they're going to work just as hard to win a title that they didn't exactly, you know, win themselves, but they still want to defend it.
When you come to the games this season, you want to keep your eye on number 0. 0. Did you hear me? Number 0 is what she wears on the back of her jersey. And believe me when I tell you, she does some spectacular things, not only with the glove, but at the plate. And if the Lady Bears indeed are going to win it again, they're going to need a productive season from number 0, Mia Ewell. Mia, thank you very much for your time. Good luck in 2022.
Thank you.
Mia Ewell, I'm Lamont, Germany. This is The Morgan Show. We'll be back right after this as we continue to chronicle the championship season that was for Lady Bear softball. This is The Morgan Show. Welcome back to The Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany, hanging out at practice with the champions, the 2021 MEAC champion Lady Bear softball team. In particular, we are joined by Sarah Tazinski. She was one of the ones with the smile on her face at the end of the MEAC tournament as the Lady Bears won it all. And Sarah, let's start right there with finally, and for the first time ever in the history of Morgan softball, reigning supreme as the team supreme in the MEAC with the championship. Talk to me about that moment when the Lady Bears clinched it all. How did Sarah feel seeing that she and her teammates have won the championship?
That was really crazy for not only me, but I'm sure for the rest of the girls, especially because I was a freshman and it was my first time here at Morgan, so I never got to experience any type of that yet. So when that happened, it was just so surreal and it was amazing, and I'm so proud of all of us, and I'm hoping that we can repeat that again this year.
You guys worked so hard in practice, have ups and downs, trials and tribulations, loving each other, fighting with each other, and in the end, get a championship. I know that has to be a strong feeling. Now, the very next day, Sarah, you're in the gym here on campus at Hill Fieldhouse trying to see who you're going to play. Now that you won the championship, and they didn't give you the third best team in America to play. They didn't give you the second best team maybe to play. They decided Morgan should play the very best team in the country in the Oklahoma Sooners and play them in Oklahoma. How did it strike you the moment you saw what the matchup was going to be, and what was the experience like going out to Norman?
I remember just sitting there and I was just like not paying attention just because I was like, oh, it's not gonna happen. And then I remember just hearing Morgan State and I was like, oh my God, and we were all just like, oh my God, like kind of just like, oh my God, this is like not really happening. Still like fangirling over the fact that we just won MEACs, and now I'm like, oh my God, now we're going to Oklahoma, the big dogs, and we're playing them. But it was very fun.
You walk on the field in Norman, in that facility, on game day, in front of all of those fans. Was it about the environment, or were you focused in on, it's about playing another softball game?
I mean, when we go from playing in front of a couple people, because we're not allowed to have people here watch our games because of COVID, from going that to being in front of thousands of people was just like, oof. But like when you're like so focused in the game, you don't even recognize that. So I mean, it was still like pretty crazy because they're crazy out there, but it was still fun. Yeah.
Let's talk about Sarah Tazinski's contribution to the cause. Multifaceted player. Utility, that means you could be anywhere. But in your case, anywhere includes the pitcher's mound. And I had a chance to watch you in action over the weekend. You got a shot in the circle with the game on the line and still not settled. And you just stepped in there and just handled your business in that circle. Is there any kind of a different mindset to when you're playing a position, to when you're in the circle, really with the game in your hands on every pitch?
I mean, for me, it's kind of easy because, I mean, I'm playing in the infield, so I'm talking to all the girls in the infield. I'm playing in the outfield, so I'm also talking to all the girls in the outfield. So I know when I'm pitching that I could trust all my fielders, and I know that wherever I throw the ball, they're going to make sure to field it and field it cleanly. So. Well,
it worked. It worked over the weekend, and obviously it worked last season with the championship. But Sarah, as you know, it's a new season now, and the teams you're going to be playing don't care about the 2021 championship you won. They're not going to be bound down to you when they step on the field. As a matter of fact, they might have a little bit of extra energy to try to take that trophy that you won away from you. When you look at the talent that's around you this year compared to the championship team, that we had last season. What are your feelings about whether or not the Lady Bears have a shot at repeating and keeping the championship?
Oh, I know for sure that we're going to keep working and keep having that mindset that we're going to repeat and keep the ring. And yeah, we're all very excited and we're hype and we're excited. Yeah, sorry.
That's Sarah Sweazie making it happen for the Lady Bears in 2021 and looking to contribute to the cause in 2022. Sarah, we really appreciate the visit. Good luck to you and the Lady Bears moving forward.
Thank you.
That's Sarah Sweazie. I'm Lamont, Germany. We're going to step away, take a brief time out. When we come back, we'll talk to another member of that Lady Bear Championship team. Coming up right here on The Morgan Show. Welcome back. This is The Morgan Show. I'm Germany. She's Sweazie, Lamont, and Cayla closing this one out. That was fun, talking about the journey for softball, the championship journey, and getting prepared for 2022 when they are going to be the hunted, looking to defend the championship. Still got a lot of brushing up to do. They played some fall ball this past weekend. They're going to be in action this coming weekend up in Pennsylvania to take on Millersville, getting ready for the real deal next spring.
Yes, and football is also looking for their first win after 2 weeks off. They will be up against St. Francis University this weekend at home.
And the volleyball team also at home this weekend. They got a Friday night encounter at Hill Fieldhouse, 6 o'clock first serve against the crosstown rivals, the Coppin State Lady Eagles. We shall chronicle all of that and much more on the next edition of The Morgan Show. I'm Lamont, Germany. For Cayla Sweazie, we really appreciate you tuning in. This has been The Morgan Show.